about an hour to heat up the material, and then every 10 minutes after that, once it's heated up, we work it, and then we go and wait, and then go do it again. In this pattern welded steel, you're developing the pattern on the end of the billet rather than the side of the billet. That is standard Damascus. It's just layering it up like plywood. But this is layering it. It's not layering it, but it's creating the pattern on the end of the billet, and then you have to use another technique to expose that, which means you got to turn it 90 degrees to see the pattern. So in this case, we'll make these bars with all this end grain pattern, and then it goes to Spyderco, and they have a self-threading wire EDM to cut slices off of the bar, and every slice is the same material. It looks identical. Yeah, Martin and I are forging steel for the 50th Spyderco anniversary knife. Briefly, to walk you through the process, we start and we make large billets of small pieces. The material we need to use for the project doesn't come in a size large enough for us to do the process, so we have to forge it together to make it work. When we forge, we're heating this up. We're not taking it molten, but we're bringing it up to temperature where it will bond. It's a diffusion bonding process. So we have in this pile 1084 and this pile 15N20. The 15N20 is a Böhler Udelholm product with 2% nickel. The 1084 is a simple steel, just iron and carbon. It etches dark. The 15N20 etches bright. After we forge these down, we get two 18-inch plates. We have 4-inch pieces like the Spyder here that are cut out of the billets. Here's a wooden example. We get 4 of these out of each half billet, and then we cut the Spyders out of the middle. We take the Spyders and we swap with the dark and light backgrounds so the Spyder contrasts with the background. This is the company logo for Spyderco. That's why we're using this as the pattern for the bolsters. This is a wooden example. These are the metal examples. They're roughly 5/8 by 4 inches square. After we have the plates forged down and cut, then we stack and we make a billet that has dark background with light Spyders and light background with dark Spyders. And those give us the contrast. And with those billets, we take 2 of each and we make like a checkerboard pattern. Light and dark, light and dark. Then this is after it's forged out with the Spyders, then we do the 4-way, and then we take pieces of that, 9 pieces, and we make a 9-way, 3 by 3, and it has two dark Spyders, 2 light Spyders in each of the 9 pieces. It gives us 36 Spyders total in the final picture. We just performed a forging operation on the billet. The forging is not molten, but it's diffusion bonding and extrusion. We're extruding this larger billet into a smaller billet to get it to the size we want to recombine for the project. The billet was beginning to go from a square to a bit of a diamond, so our next process is to bring it back into a square. We try to keep it exactly square best we can. We might have to repeat this process because just the pressure of the dies can actually move it into a diamond, and we don't want diamonds, we want squares. The forging is actually reducing the size of a larger billet into a smaller billet, or the manipulation of hot steel. It's much like Venetian glass or Fimo dough with color fast clay, that you make a large picture and you draw it down to get it to the appropriate size. In the case of Fimo dough, you might make a hockey puck sized picture and draw it down into a button for different clothes, but you have to be very controlled on the reduction. You can't take one dimension a huge amount more than the other. So in this case, we're going into a square and we take it down a little bit through the square, then we turn it and we take it back down through the square, but we're always working relative to square. So in this billet, we take multiple layers, all the same material of the squares, stack them up. Then we put the contrasting spiders in, and they're a little proud on both sides. And we heat it up and we push the spiders in flush, and it spreads out and fills the kerf between the spider and the block. And then all these blocks are welded together so that they keep the billet airtight, because welding is an anaerobic process. Oxygen is not your friend. So we put together our billets as tight as possible, and we're not using any flux on this. It's more of an encasement weld. The flux is a problem if we go to wire cut this, which is planned for it down the road. We draw this down. In the next step, we weld the bar on the face of the billet, and then we draw it out into bars. We reduce this from roughly 4 inches down to 1.5 inches, and then from the 1.5 inches we recombine these to make our 4-way. We run it into squares. It's not real easy to see, but this is a 4-way. We'll take 9 blocks of this and we'll make an actual, well, we call it a 3x3 or a 9-way, which will have 4 spiders in each of the 9 pieces, which gives us 36 spiders, 6x6 in the final billet. But we're always building out of square blocks. This is a block of spiders forge welded into the block, into the square rod, and reduced. And all the gaps between the spider and the block have been filled. When we forge it, the metal moves into those gaps. These are all spiders with light spiders and dark spiders. These are dark spiders with light background. Some of these we have to separate them to get them in. These are light spiders with dark background. We have dark spiders with light background. That gives us our 4-way, which is 2 of each.